Tea is one of the most loved and popular drinks in the world. Few things are as soothing or, conversely, uplifting as a cup of hot tea. We drink it when we wake up, want to sleep, get sick, catch a cold, get sad, meet our relatives, make new friends, and eat the most delicious desserts. It has a long and interesting history, and we have compiled 15 interesting facts about this drink that you may not have heard of. Watch and be surprised. There are over 1,500 varieties of tea. The taste of tea, like wine, depends on where it is grown. Different varieties are enriched with different minerals. Here are some common varieties of tea: black, green, white, yellow, oolong, pu'erh. And the teas you buy most often consist of a mixture of different varieties. Previously, all tea was green. Until the middle of the 17th century, all Chinese tea was green. As foreign trade developed, Chinese manufacturers found that they could preserve tea leaves through the fermentation process. The resulting black tea retained its flavor and aroma longer than the more delicate green teas, and was better prepared for long trips to other countries. Not all tea you drink. For example, mint tea, any herbal tea, rosehip tea are drinks, and not real teas at all, they are called tisanes. Remember that the tea must be obtained from the leaves of the Camellia sinensis plant. Well, what unites all other types of drinks with tea is that you pour it into a cup and it is hot. Every second, 15,000 cups of tea are drunk around the world. On average, the world drink 3.7 billion cups a day. Tea has more caffeine than coffee. But not everything is so simple. The fact is that there is indeed more of it in the net weight of brewing, but for a full and proper brewing, you use much less tea than coffee in percentage terms. In comparison, a cup of black tea contains approximately 40 to 70 milligrams of caffeine, while a cup of black coffee contains 100 to 120 milligrams. However, a cup of tea contains less caffeine than the same volume of coffee. Tea was so expensive it was stored in locked chests. In fact, in small chests. Tea, brought to Europe at the end of the 17th century, was an insanely valuable commodity. Ego was kept in elegant chests with reliable locks, then they were called tea boxes, and the keys to them were worn on chains near the heart. Typically, such boxes had 2 or more compartments for storing several types of tea and sugar at once. Tea was counterfeited and diluted with sheep dung. Researchers say more tea was illegally imported in the late 18th century than legally. Smugglers mixed tea leaves with other plants, increasing their supply and profits. But leaves were not always used. Often branches, sawdust, and even a mixture of ashy leaves boiled together with sheep dung, for color, were found in tea bags. Earl Grey tea is named after the real Earl Grey. Earl Charles Grey was born in 1764. According to his biography, he received tea flavored with bergamot oil as a gift. He liked the blend so much that he asked the British tea merchants to recreate the taste. Darjeeling is the champagne of the tea world. Anyone selling Darjeeling tea must first obtain a license from the Tea Board of India. This clause was included in the Tea Act of 1953 in 2000. This is due to the fact that this variety of tea grows in only one region. By law, any Darjeeling branded tea without quality assurance and proper certification must not be exported from the country. Tea is sold at auctions. The London Tea Auction has been running for 300 years. According to the BBC, by the 1950s, a third of all tea in the world was bought at auction. They were held about once a quarter, and tea was sold according to a peculiar scheme. The auction did not last until the last bid, but while the candle was burning. As soon as the wick burned out, the auction ended and the winner was the one who was the last to name the price. There is a British standard for the perfect cup of tea. The British Tea Manufacturers Association, the Tea Trade Committee, and the Department of Agriculture, Fisheries and Food developed the tea standards, known as BS 6008, in 1980. Here's what you need to match them. A porcelain teapot. For every 100 milliliters of water there must be at least 2 grams of tea. The serving temperature cannot exceed 85 degrees, but must be above 60 degrees for optimum taste and feel. Iced tea was invented by accident. Americans first tasted iced tea at the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis. A tea merchant participating in the exhibition planned to distribute free samples of hot tea to visitors. When the heat came on, no one even wanted to look in the direction of a hot drink. In order not to burn out, he thought of throwing a lot of ice into the brewed tea. Customers lined up to try this original invention. Today, Americans drink almost 50 billion cups of iced tea each year, accounting for more than 80% of all tea consumed in the US. So iced tea appeared by accident, thanks to the ingenuity of the seller. Tea bags are a mistake. Tea bags were invented in the USA by accident. In 1908, a New York tea merchant sent samples of his product, sealed in silk bags, to restaurants and cafes throughout the city. After a while, he discovered that restaurants were brewing his tea right in these bags to save time. This method of brewing immediately took root. Tea is more precious than gold. The production of Da Hong Pao black tea is a very long process, and it is produced almost by hand. In addition, the petals of this plant are quite rare, and there are only 6 bushes of this variety left in the world. They are protected by the Chinese government and are insured for huge sums. In 1996, at a tea auction in Beijing, 1 kilogram of this type of tea was sold for $1,250,000, which is more expensive than gold. Tea equals currency. In some countries of the world, until the beginning of the 20th century, tea, in particular pu'erh, was used as a currency. This variety of tea is pressed into various shapes and each is given its own name, such as disc, melon, brick, mushroom. The discs are widely used in all Asian countries and beyond, in particular, in China, Mongolia, Tibet, Russia and Siberia. Pu'erh is pressed into various forms, and each is given its own name. Drink tea correctly and dosed, and such a drink will bring invaluable benefits to your body, allow you to enjoy the delicious taste and unique aroma. You are on the EasyFood channel. We make it easy and fun. Subscribe and stay with us. Don't miss the following videos.